Hi there, welcome. If you are new, please consider subscribing. My name is Yadi and I create educational videos for beauty professionals in training and for those who like to continue learning. This video is for the Texas Nail-Esthetician Practical. On the day of the test, on the day of your examination, be sure you arrive 30 minutes prior to your scheduled appointment time. This will allow you for sign-in and identification verification. Be sure that there is no conversing or any other format of communication with other candidates that are inside of the examination area. If you arrive late or do not appear to be in the appropriate attire, you will not be admitted into the examination site and you will forfeit your examination fee. So be sure you dress appropriate, you guys. Consider wearing all black or scrubs, and for sure, be sure to have closed-toe shoes. Now, besides your kit containing all of the items that you'll be needing for your test, be sure that you have the appropriate government-issued ID or driver's license, and most importantly, make sure that it is not expired. And be sure that the name that TDLR or PSI has you registered under matches your ID so that there's no issues the day of the test. Do not take any additional study material inside of the testing center with you a day prior to your test. Be sure that your kit is ready and it has everything you need inside. Once you have gone through registration, they will more than likely take everyone into the testing stations and assign you to a desk. Listen for specific instructions and follow them. Do as they say. Be attentive, remain focused, and focus on your workstation only. Do not focus on others working around you. This may look as if you are cheating and can lead to loss of points, and we don't want that to happen. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with PSI or TDLR in any way. This video is intended for a visual review purpose only and not a replacement from a licensed facility. Remember that in order for you to become eligible to take the Texas Practical Nail-Esthetician Practical Exam, you must complete the appropriate amount of hours from a licensed facility. 1, 2, have taken the theory portion written test and pass, and then you will become eligible for the hands-on practical test. Every school and or instructors may train for this exam slightly different, but please remember that we all have the same intentions in mind, and that is to help you pass. So please do as you have been trained by your instructor, and let this video be a visual guide to those who have little to no assistance. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your continued support. And if you find the information helpful, don't forget to give this video a like, share it with a friend. And with that being said, let's get started. You guys, this will be a long video, but if you are going to be taking this test, I highly recommend that you watch the entire thing to not miss any details. Now, my recommendation is that you take 2 separate kits. One kit with all of your nail items and your second kit with all of your esthetician items. Now, the test will be done exactly in the order that you will see it in this video. Again, I highly recommend you stay for the entire thing, and you will be starting off doing all of the nail portion of the exam first. The first section is pre-examination setup and disinfection. You may begin. When you hear you may begin, that's when you go into your kit and grab your pre-examination and setup bag. We're starting off by disinfecting our workstation first. There's paper towels inside of your bag. Then continue to grab your trash bag and your tape to tape your trash bag to your station. If you're right-handed, be sure to tape your bag to your right-hand side. If you're left-handed, feel free to tape to your left-hand side. Remember that your kit will be next to you. continue to take everything out of your pre-exam bag. So we have our EPA disinfectant, our hand sanitizer. We have our mannequin hand, our mannequin stand, and a Ziploc bag with paper towels. So that main bag, along with your tape, can go into your trash. Remember, anytime you throw something in the trash, you sanitize your hands. Once you have disinfected the chair, yes, you may have a seat. Okay, once you're done disinfecting everything, you will then raise your hand. Candidates, please stop working. All scoring has been completed. Thank you. The next section is manicure service. Please perform a manicure. You may begin. Always sanitize your hands before going into your kit, and we are now ready to go in and grab our manicure service bag. Once you have your bag, you're going to start off by to take everything out of your bag so you know what you have to start working with. Inside of this specific bag, we have 3 towels, and no, they do not have to be white, but there's 3 towels in this bag. The first one she folded and put right under our mannequin's hand. The second towel is being placed on the table, and the third towel is on her lap. We have our manicure bowl. We have a bag with a Ziploc bag with cotton rounds. We have an alcohol bottle, cuticle softener, massage lotion, and we have another labeled Ziploc bag with some pre-sanitized implements. The original bag can just be set on your table. Inside of our implement bag, we have a nail file, cuticle pusher, cuticle nipper, cotton tipped orange wood stick, and a nail brush. Now, I will say, I don't think we use the nail brush, but it's there just in case you need it. We're going to start off by sanitizing our hands and our mannequin's hand. We are then going to begin by filing all 5 nails. Be sure to file the nails from the outside edges to the center, avoiding filing the top of the nail while rolling back the side walls. The next step is to perform cuticle care. So we're going to go ahead and grab our cuticle softener and apply to all 5 fingers. We will then be submerging our mannequin's hand into our manicure bowl. We will then begin to push the cuticles back using a cuticle pusher. After pushing the cuticles back, the next step will be to nip cuticle to one nail and place trimming on a cotton round. So let's sanitize our hands. Let's go in our cotton round bag. And let's take out one cotton round before we begin the nipping of the cuticle. You'll set the cotton round to the side. Our next step will be to dry the mannequin's hand. Our next step is the massage. Once you've come to a stop, our next step is to clean under the free edge of the nails using a cotton tip orange wood stick with alcohol. Anytime you dispose of anything into the trash, be sure to sanitize your hands. We have performed all the required sections. We are now ready to disinfect our workstation. So at this point, we're putting everything back into our original bags and into our trash bag. Wash, sanitize. Candidates, please stop working. All scoring has been completed. The next section is tip application service on one nail. Please apply a tip to one finger. You may begin. So we're sanitizing our hands first and then going into our kit and grabbing our tip application service bag. And of course, we're starting off by disinfecting our table first. Disinfecting our workstation first before continuing to get everything out of our bag. Very good. Second paper towel, we're going to open that up and then continue to getting everything out of our bag. In our bag, we have orange wood stick, we have a buffing block, we have our dehydrator, we have nail glue, we have our nail tip cutter, a nail file, and a manicure brush. Now, the bag has a manicure brush just in case you need it. So right away, we begin by pushing the cuticle back. Remember, you're working with one finger. In this case, she opted in for using the middle finger of the mannequin's hand. After pushing the cuticles back, our next step is to buff the natural nail, removing any shine. Use your nail brush as needed to dust your nail. We are now ready to apply our dehydrator. So you can choose the nail of your choice, the finger of your choice where you will be applying your nail tip. In this case, we are using our middle finger. So we've now applied our nail dehydrator. The next step would be to find a nail tip that fits the natural nail. Take at least 2 nail tips with you the day of the test that you know will fit the finger you'll be working with on the day of the test. Once ready, apply your nail adhesive to the well of the tip and apply to the natural nail. Make sure that you are aligning the tip against the free edge and placing it properly. Take a nail glue that will work with you and not against you. I know it'll feel like a lifetime, but be sure that you allow that nail tip to stick. Allow it to dry. Once ready, you will then use your nail tip cutter and trim your nail tip. At this point, you are ready to blend the nail tip to the natural nail using your nail file. And don't forget, you can use your nail dust brush if needed. Next, we are going to buff the nail using our buffing block. You're welcome to touch and feel your nail tip to make sure that it's smooth and blended into the natural nail before starting your cleanup disinfecting process. Remember that the raters may be walking back and forth and watching you work while you are doing this part of the test. Once you know everything is all good, you can start with your cleanup process by putting everything back into your original bag and then into your trash bag. Thank you, candidates. Please stop working. All scoring has been completed. The next section is nail enhancement with form. Please apply a nail enhancement with a form to one finger. You may begin. Okay, let's sanitize our hands and let's go into our kit and grab our nail enhancement bag. We're going to start off by disinfecting our workstation first. We have our odorless products, our monomer and polymer. We have 2 dapping dishes. We have nail files, orange wood stick, our nail brush, buffing block, our primer and our dehydrator, a dust brush, and we cannot forget about our nail forms. So once we have everything out, we're going to start off by pushing the cuticles back. After pushing the cuticles back, we are then going to buff the natural nail and then apply the dehydrator. We are now ready to apply our form under the free edge of the natural nail. Our next step is to apply our primer. We are now ready to dispense our liquid and powder to our dapping dishes. Remember that you do not need a whole lot of product. Now we're going to sanitize our hands once again for good luck. And we are now ready to pick up our nail brush and begin our acrylic application. Once done, allow the product to dry. Okay, so let's check to make sure that our nail is ready. So we're using the nail file to kind of give it a little tap. We are now removing our nail form from our nail. Again, sanitize your hands every time you throw something into your trash bag. And we are now ready to start filing. At this point, you are trying to give your nail a shape using your file. Once done, you can then begin to use the buffing block to buff the top of your nail, just giving it a smooth finish and removing that top tacky film layer that we know odorless product tends to leave. So moving in one direction only to help remove that tacky film will definitely help you. Our next step is to disinfect. So let's go ahead and start putting everything away. We're using the paper towel that we had on our station to absorb the leftover liquid that was in our dappen dish. Remember, we're putting everything back in our bag. Make sure all your jars are closed, all your containers are closed, and everything will be disposed of into the trash bag. I hope you're still here because this is where the transition begins. So we are at the end of our sculpting nail service section. So at this point, we are putting everything away, okay? So you're going to grab your mannequin hand, your mannequin stand. Your original bag is probably also already in the trash, okay? You're going to put your mannequin hand, your EPA, everything into your trash bag. And you are pretty much clearing out your desk, even your trash bag, and you're putting everything back into your kit because soon you will be moving on to your transition into your esthetician part of the exam. Remember that for this section or for this part of the test, you obviously have 2 kits, and that's when you will raise your hand that you are done. So just to reiterate, at the end of your nail enhancement section of the exam, once you're done with that section, you will completely remove everything from your station, getting rid of everything that you had on there, basically everything that you used during the nail portion of the test. And your desk should be clear before you transition on to the esthetician portions. Now we know that the readers aren't very vocal, so in each location site may be different, but usually they may say, we're now transitioning, so next section is setup and disinfection and cleansing service. And so therefore you will already have your esthetician kit ready to go, and you will have to move quickly through setting up your station with everything you need for the aesthetic, along with your cleansing service section bag. So again, don't get confused. It's not hard, okay? Try to calm yourself down. Use this as a visual to give you an idea. You will have what you need and everything will be fine, I promise. The next section is pre-exam setup and disinfection and cleansing service. You may begin. And yes, you can stand during the esthetician part of the test. All right, you guys, so immediately after they say you may begin, you're going to go right into your esthetician kit and reach for your pre-examination and setup bag and quickly begin to disinfect your working station. Remember that your kit must remain closed, and there's really no need for you to latch the handles on the box. Just make sure that you keep the lid on it placed at all times, okay? That kit must remain closed. So I opted in for cleaning the table first, disinfecting the table. I will then be reaching for my trash bag and my tape to set up my trash bag. Now, many of you guys really, what's the right word? You overthink what you do with the paper towel. And as you see here, I'm just holding it, and I'm now, I got rid of it. I'm sanitizing my hands, and I'm reaching for my tape. You want to make sure that you tape your trash bag really, really well, because you'll be disposing of everything into your trash bag, and you obviously don't want that bag to fall. So make sure you grab enough bag coverage and tape. Once you have that set up, go back into your kit and grab your cleansing service bag and your mannequin, okay? And just literally like start setting up. Again, you're doing all of this within the 14-minute time frame that they give you. Anytime you throw something into your trash bag, you have to sanitize your hands. If they ask you if your trash bags are labeled, you will say yes, because they should be. And so here I am, setting up the mannequin, and then I quickly go into getting all the items that I have in my cleansing service bag. I mean, I'm not speeding through this video. This is literally me, and yes, it is me performing this. I'm sure you can tell the difference. And I'm just moving pretty quickly because you want to. Now, move quickly but effectively and do everything you're supposed to do. So don't be all over the place, all right? So again, this is something that you can definitely practice while you're in school, and just make sure you have everything you need in your kit. All right, so in this bag we have our cleansing product and our makeup removing product, and I have some cotton rounds. Right when you set all of that up, you're gonna quickly move into draping your mannequin. So you can do the headband first, followed by your towel, or vice versa. That does not matter as long as it gets done. Remember that your draping will stay on the mannequin for the remaining of the test. And I do always pack a little hair clip to hold the towel in place. Once you have that ready to go, you will then quickly begin by doing your first step, which is removing the eye makeup from both eyes. And yes, I do use 2 different cotton rounds each time. After that, you will remove the lipstick from the mannequin. I know there's no makeup on it, but again, we're pretending we're going through the motions. So eyes first, then lip, and then you will move into your cleansing manipulations. Always remember to sanitize your hands every time you throw something into the trash. So we are now ready to start our cleansing service. So here we are. I just pumped some of the product in the back of my hand and I'm dotting it. If you're my student, you know what this means. So always start on the chin, work it out, chin, cheeks, around the eyes, forehead, bridge of the nose, sides of the nose, and you are really just manipulating. It's like you're cleansing, just like you cleanse anyone else's face. Don't overthink it. I always advise that you guys do this at least 3 times throughout the face so that the readers hopefully are keeping an eye on you and they see that you are indeed performing the cleansing manipulations that you're required. After that, of course, I opted in for sanitizing my hands, get that product feeling off my hands, and I'm using the 2 cotton rounds as my sponges to remove the residue off my mannequin. Okay, so I'm using the cotton rounds, so I used 5 cotton rounds in total. 5 cotton rounds. Get rid of those, sanitize your hands, and then it's cleanup time. So you're basically just putting everything back into its original bag and then into the trash bag after you disinfect your workstation. This will be very repetitive. I'm already warning you. We clean before, we clean after. Super repetitive. Once done, you raise your hand that you are finished. The next section is steaming service. You may begin. So we're going to sanitize our hands first and then go into our box and grab our steaming service bag. Now, the day of the test, what I recommend is that you have a bag inside of that bag with a towel. And that towel, I usually have it slightly damp, okay? Does it have to be? No, it does not have to be. Usually my students do take the towel a little bit damp so that it feels more natural to them. And so because during this section, all you will be doing will be checking the temperature of this towel on the inside of your wrist. And I always say, fan it out 3 to 4 times. This is all that it's, included in this section. And so really take your time with it, fan it out, check the temperature, place it on your mannequin's face, over the lips, over the eyes, across and across. We're doing our patting motions here. 3 and 4. And usually I do recommend that you leave it on there for just a few seconds, okay? So that it allows the skin to steam. You will then gently remove it off the face, and then of course all of that then becomes trash, and you will finalize by disinfecting your workstation and raising your hand that you are done. The next section is massage. You may begin. So of course we always sanitize our hands first before going into our kit and grabbing that first paper towel to disinfect our working station. We are moving pretty quickly through this, sanitizing our hands again. Second paper towel. I always have 2 paper towels in each bag, you guys. This bag only has massage cream and some cotton rounds. The cotton rounds is for the removal of the excess product at the end. So you'll be using 2 cotton rounds for this section. So once you have that set, go ahead and pump some product to the back of your hand. You can dot it like so and then begin to spread your product. I'm going up and across, up and across, and then begin to spread, okay? Starting at the chin, cheeks, around the eyes, the foreheads, bridge of the nose, sides of the nose, above the upper lip, and all of that. Once ready, I usually do start the massage on the forehead at the top. You do want to do these massages in order, and we're starting with effleurage. And no, they do not ask you to speak or say the names or any of that. You just perform them, okay? So again, effleurage first, at least 3 times throughout the face is what I usually recommend. They definitely give you plenty of time. So we're moving on to petrissage. Think of it as pinching, also known as kneading. Petrissage. I'm using my thumb and my index finger. Petrissage. Then moving on to tapotement, slight tapping, piano movement. Again, about 3 times throughout the face. Once you come to a stopping point, you are welcome to sanitize your hands if you feel the need to. Don't forget you have paper towels on your station that at any point during the test, if you need to use them, you can. It's absolutely fine to do that. So here I am just removing the excess product using those 2 cotton rounds and getting rid of them, disposing of all trash. Make sure that you're keeping everything, your station, nice and clean for the most part, right? And cleanup time, putting everything back to the original bag, disinfecting the workstation, and throwing all of that into your trash bag, and then sanitizing your hands one last time before you raise your hand that you are done. The next section is mask and moisturizing service. You may begin. By this point, yes, you are tired of disinfecting your workstation and doing all of that, but just trust the process and know that it's very much part of it and you're almost at the finish line, so just keep going. And so again, disinfecting the station, and then we're going to be setting up our area just to make sure that we have everything that we need. This section does have a few more steps, but it's nothing too fancy. You got this. So again, mask application, we have cotton round, a mask brush, a spatula, we have our mask, we have toner, and we have moisturizer. And this is another bag that does have a bag with a wet towel and also a set of wet sponges, okay? And I do that for the removal of the mask just to make it more simple and easy to remove the product with. So right when you have everything ready to go, sanitize your hands and reach for your mask. You have a spatula. You want to grab some of the product and put it in the back of your hand. Always close your jar, dispose of your spatula, sanitize your hands, and then immediately reach for your mask brush and begin your application. So what they're looking for is an even application and just making sure that you're not being extremely sloppy and getting product all over your draping like the towel and the headband. So just, take your time, but don't take so long. If you know, you know. So definitely move through this, apply the mask to the best of your ability without making a mess and getting it on your draping. And remember that the mask does not sit for any specific amount of time on the mannequin's face. Right when you put it on, you then immediately get rid of your brush. You dispose of your brush into the trash like I'm doing now, and then you will then go straight for the removal. So I always use the sponges first, remove just like you remove any other mask from any other person, right? And then use your towel as a second method just to make sure that you get all the product off. That is another thing that they're looking for, that you do not leave any mask traces on the mannequin's face. So be very thorough with your removal. I think this is like an easy target, an easy way for them to see that you did leave product behind, and they give you again 17 minutes. And so yeah, do what you need to do, right? So once you're done with the sponges, they become trash, sanitize, and now time for the towel. The towel is damp, like I said, and so go through the motions of also checking the temperature, right? Just like you would on anyone else. And I just create a mitten and start going throughout the entire face, removing any excess residue. Now, do you have to use both the sponges and a towel? The answer is no. I usually do this for my students. It works for us. It's how they use it in the treatment room, and so it becomes like natural to them. After that, we apply our toner. And yes, I sprayed the cotton round and then just simply applying it throughout the entire face. You can also just mist the skin if you want to and not use a cotton round. It's really up to you. Again, everyone trains different for this test. This is how I do it. It's not to say that I'm right and your instructor's wrong or vice versa. We all have the same goal, and that's to, hope that you pass this test and get through it and become licensed. Here I am applying the moisturizer. Just apply it, and once you come to a stopping point, it becomes cleanup time, putting everything away, and of course disposing of everything like we've been doing throughout the test. I hope all of this is helping, and if you know someone that could use this information, feel free to share the video with them. Candidates, please stop working. All scoring has been completed for this section. Thank you. The next section is waxing with soft wax. You may begin. All right, so we are ready for our waxing section. So as always, we're disinfecting the station, then using our second paper towel to lay all of our items on top of. So this bag has a few things. So let's see what we have in there. We have our astringent, we have our antiseptic, we have our mock wax. Remember that you're not using real product here. Mock wax is just Vaseline. We have another Ziploc bag. Inside of that bag, we have 3 cotton rounds. 3 cotton rounds. We have 2 spatulas, 2 waxing strips fabric. Okay, 2 fabrics. And we have a pair of gloves. So anytime you see gloves, just go ahead and put them on. Put on your gloves, and once you've put on your gloves, you will then begin by cleansing, cleaning, disinfecting one of the brows. Okay, you're only working with one brow, and so we're using our antiseptic, and we're using a cotton round, and we're cleaning the brow area first. So this is the first step, is clean the brow area, trash, sanitize. Second cotton round, you will dry the area. You will dry the brow, okay? We cannot wax over wet skin is what I always say, right? So next, let's test the temperature of the wax in our inside of our wrist. So first spatula, grab the wax, test it on your wrist. That becomes trash. Then you'll grab your fabric and just, again, like you would on a real situation, right? Remove the wax, perfect temperature every time. And so now you are ready for the brow. I know the mannequin doesn't have brows. We're just pretending, right, where they would be. And so again, you just have to do one area. And again, we're applying the wax in the direction of the hair growth. So I'm going back and forth. That spatula becomes trash. Then we grab our fabric and we apply it over the wax that we just applied. Notice how I'm rubbing on the skin. I'm holding the skin taut and I'm pulling the fabric in the opposite direction. Once you do that, you are ready for your aftercare. So I'm using the astringent and I'm just applying it over the brow, and it gives you the perfect time to remove that Vaseline off the mannequin pretty much. And then it's cleanup time. A reminder that during this section, every time you open that jar, the wax, you are closing your jar each time and not leaving anything open. I think you're getting the motions of everything. Do not forget to get rid of your gloves. Do not raise your hand with your gloves still on. Okay? Once ready, raise your hand. And that is it. You're almost done. The next section is blood exposure. You may begin. All right, you guys, so this is it. At this point, you have 1 foot out the door and you are at the finish line. So this section, though, is very, very important, and I'm sure they're going to be keeping a close eye on you. So you need to get this right. So here we are disinfecting everything. This bag has 3 paper towels. We just used 1. The second one will be to put all of our items on top, and we have a double bag. We have a trash bag with a biohazard bag inside of it. The third paper towel, our first aid kit, and of course we have our gloves. So immediately put on your gloves. Again, anytime you see gloves, just put them on. All right, and we're going to get our double bags ready. Remember that everything during this section goes into these double bags. So in our first aid kit, we have 3 things. We have gauze, alcohol pad and our band-aid. We're going to be using the middle of the forehead of the mannequin for this section. So here I am tearing the gauze. You're going to grab your gauze and apply pressure, apply pressure, apply pressure to the simulated cut. We are pretending. Okay, so we're applying pressure. That is the first step. Grab your wrapping paper and your gauze and throw it inside of the double bags. Close it and sanitize your hands. Yes, you have to do this each time you throw something in there. Next, we have the alcohol pad. Wipe the area, wipe the area, wipe the area. Grab the wrapping paper, throw it inside of the double bags, and yes, you guessed it, sanitize your hands again. And finally, you're gonna go for your band-aid. So apply the band-aid on the mannequin. Try to hold it just because you just wiped it with alcohol, and so you don't want that band-aid to just roll off the skin because it might be a little wet from the alcohol. So just hold it for a few seconds, and then of course get rid of all your wrapping paper in the double bags. I usually do throw the first aid kit in there as well, so I just simply wrap it on the paper towel we were laying everything on. That goes into the double bags, and the third paper towel that we set to the side is what we're going to use to disinfect our workstation. So that's what you're seeing me do at the moment. That paper towel also goes inside of the double bags along with your gloves. Everything, you guys, everything goes inside of the double bags. And then usually what I like to do is throw the double bags inside of that big original bag and then into the bag that's taped to my station. And of course, sanitize your hands one last time. Raise your hand that you are all done. Candidates, please stop working. All scoring has been completed. Thank you. The next section is end of examination disinfection. You may begin. All right, now it is time to do the happy dance in your head because you are pretty much done. So at this point, you are undraping your mannequin. So you're taking the draping off. There's no bag for this section in your kit because everything you need is right in front of you. So unhook your mannequin stand, and throw everything back into your box along with that first aid kit that we set at the beginning of the test on your station. And remember, that kit is there just as an emergency for whatever reason. If you were to need it, you could use it, but usually no one really needs it, but it's there just in case. So make sure that you're disinfecting everything around you. Unhook your trash bag from your station, and at this point, you're putting everything in your box. They want you to clean up and get out of there. So that's exactly what you're going to do. That's exactly what I'm doing. And the last thing you want to do is sanitize your hands, and you can grab your trash bag and just stuff it in your kit, in your box. At least mine does fit. Close your box, and you guys, that's it. That is pretty much it. You are done. You are all done with the Texas Nail-Esthetician Practical. Wow. Finally, oh my goodness, you have no idea how happy I feel to finally have made this video. There's been so many people that have asked me so many questions regarding this test, and many of you guys, or many out there, have been just watching the nail video separate and the esthetician video separate. But I know this video is longer because obviously it has everything in one place, and I just know it's going to help so many people out there and give them a better visual, better understanding of the transition between both parts of the exam. Going from the nail and transitioning over to the aesthetic part of the exam is not as hard as you think. It's really, really simple. You just need to be sure that you are prepared, that your kits have everything that they need. Please check the description box of this video for additional resources that you may find helpful. And as always, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your continued support. I know many of you guys refer my channel to so many people, your classmates. Thank you so much for your continued support. Find me on all social media platforms as Glam and Beyond. I know this video is far from perfect, but I'm just happy that it's finally out there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know in the comments down below if you are a dual licensed nail esthetician and you'll be testing soon. And always, I read your guys' comments, and I appreciate when you guys come back and update me on how you did on your test. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much it warms my heart, and I feel like I know you guys personally, although I don't, but it definitely feels like I do, and all of you guys are like my YouTube family, my YouTube students. And so when you come back and you tell me you got that passing score, it just makes me feel so happy, because trust me, like I still have that embedded in my brain of how I felt when I first became licensed, and I know that the feeling is great. So again, with that being said, you guys, let's keep going, let's keep growing, and I'll see you on the next one.